Meditation is an exercise to reduce overthinking. Just as an athlete needs to rest their body to allow it to recover, we also need to let our mind have time to rest and recover. When we don't allow ourselves this hugely important and impactful state, we make ourselves susceptible to mental discordance. If we suffer from sleeplessness due to overthinking, from maybe anxiety or depression, then this itself is a red flag to ourselves. The ego mind is in control when we feel anything outside of our natural harmony state. And yes, our natural state is to live in health and in bliss, in harmony, not only within ourselves but in a harmonious state. The interconnectedness with everything can be felt and observed. Overthinking occurs due to various reasons. From the very start of our life in this physical form, we are indoctrinated and programmed to behave and think by those who think it is their responsibility to fill us with their information. Yet they also have been programmed and conditioned. Consciousness or self-awareness of your thoughts and behaviours is how we can decipher information and decide for ourselves what resonates as truth to us. Consciousness is paying attention to yourself instead of the constant programmed distraction of concerns and judgments on others. We cannot find peace within ourselves if we don't know who we are and give ourselves the attention we deserve by constantly distracting ourselves with other people's issues. In meditation, we can become conscious, but first we need to accept that meditation is a practice. It is about quietening the mind, not about no thoughts. Often people might say, I can't do it because I have too much going on in my mind. We all begin meditation with too much on our mind. The average person has roughly 60,000 thoughts per day. We're not even aware of a scratch of these. They're mostly habitual, regurgitated actions based on past experiences and programming from the TV, telephone, radio, etc. If we truly want to improve our well-being, then we also have to consider what we allow into our mind. Just as the athlete regards his diet as important and influential for the success, we too must be aware of what we let in. Possibly the worst influence we can subject ourselves to would be the news. It instills fear, and with fear-based thinking, we reduce and limit ourselves. The news is not uplifting and empowering. It can actually disable us. What do you do about hearing about all this devastation? Is there anything that can actually be done, other than praying for people, animals, and the planet? News is a broadcast, which recently I heard as casting a broad spell, north, east, south and west, with debilitating information to keep us disempowered. After having, say, an hour of depressing news, it reduces us, saddens us, and influences us. We then believe that the world is filled with hatred, horror, and this instills fear, aggression, and brings out our own hatreds. How is this useful? Where is the harmony? With meditation, we can quieten the mind and reduce the pollution that we've subjected ourselves to, consciously or unconsciously. And we can choose to ask ourselves questions that become clear because of the chance we give ourselves to receive the answers. Consider meditation in the first attempt as a room filled with people talking to one another, completely filled with people. You want to hear what one person is saying, but that person is across the room and the noise is overwhelming. You can't hear that specific voice. Your higher self, or your essence, that is the wisdom inside you, and that is the one individual in the room. And all the other people talking is the constant thinking and fears and habitual regurgitation that we want to reduce. So what we can do is look at ways to declutter this pollution. We turn off anything we don't need to hear. We may become selective of the people we spend time with because of what is discussed. And then in meditation, we practice focusing on our breathing. As the noise slowly reduces, we may begin to hear the message that's to ourself from our essence. You'll know if it is your essence or your ego, because the ego mind leads with fear, whereas the essence is love. Wisdom is the message from that one individual across the room. Your essence is not pushy, it is patient. With meditation as a practice, we can overcome the emotional and psychological disturbances and disharmony that we can be subjected to. We can become in tune with ourselves. Meditation can bring us peace, acceptance, compassion, and self-love. A simple practice that may be as little as a few minutes in a day. For a person who suffers with sleeplessness, this few minutes out of a day spent mostly awake could be the saviour to their problems. But often we want a quicker fix or the easiest option, which is generally a pill. Medication may be helpful, but is only a band-aid. Eventually, all band-aids lose their stick. Before that happens, we can prepare ourselves with a practice that is simple to do and revitalising for the mind, body and spirit. It can even be done walking. Guided meditations are also very helpful because they help you to retain your focus rather than the mind running away with other thoughts, which is also not wrong. It's about becoming aware. Thoughts do arise and sometimes they will dominate, but with practice we can allow them to arise and with our breath leave. By focusing on our breath or the voice in a guided meditation, we can help ourselves and clean up the most influential aspect of ourselves, our mind. It is our mind that determines the physiological health of our body. If we constantly reiterate negativity from our mind about ourselves, it will show. We reflect what we think. If we can begin to correct the thoughts we think by changing what we speak, we can change the way we live, the way we behave, and the way we think. If you hear yourself say something negative about yourself, correct yourself. If even only in your mind, you need to change and correct this habit. Don't put yourself down. It doesn't even matter if you don't believe it. Over time, you are changing and reprogramming yourself. Words hold so much power. And if you are unhappy, stressed, anxious, or feel anything that is discontent, then it's time to pay attention to yourself and grant yourself some time to help yourself. Only you can change your thoughts. Only you can improve your well-being. Become conscious. Spend time in practice of resting and relaxing the mind. It may feel uncomfortable initially, but that's because your ego mind doesn't want to lose control. Your essence will not fight. It is always waiting patiently and offering love. You have to overcome your ego mind. Be brave. Practice meditation. Find your freedom within. Love is the answer. Ciao.